Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about a couple of important ideas. First, how do you play when you are down in material? And then, we're going to see a very useful tactical concept. So, we're going to start by looking at this game, which a student of mine and I played yesterday against someone rated 1400. We're down a piece. One important thing to remember, when you're down a piece, you do not want to trade pieces. The more pieces get traded, the more simple the position becomes, and the easier it is to play if you're up. So you want to keep the position complicated, keep the pieces on the board, and try to do something um, in with those complications. So it's our move. So first we move the knight, attacking the queen. My apologies. Our opponent moves the queen back. We activate our last piece. The rook plays chess. Black plays a very nice move. He improves his knight, hitting our bishop because black wants to trade. He wants the position to be simple. If you're up, you want to trade. And he's also putting pressure here. So we drop the bishop back. Again, we do not want to trade. Our bishop is not doing too much here. He supports g2 just in case. And maybe later he'll come back out. Our pawn makes a mistake. And now we have a tactic which will gain us material back. I'm going to pause and have you find it. I hope you were able to realize that both of these knights are not defended. When he played this move, he undefended the knight, and he has to lose pieces. This is something we mentioned before. And when your opponent has loose pieces, try to see if there is a way to get them. And we decided to play queen a4, and both knights attack. So he's about to lose one of them, so he might as well get something for it. So he plays knight a pawn, which opens up our king. Now we have a choice. We can take this knight, or we can take this knight. If we take this knight, he will take our rook. If we take his rook, he will take this knight with check. So this is not super mega exciting, although we'll be able to take back. But we're simply down a pawn in that position. So again, you want to keep more pieces on the board. So we took with the bishop. And now this bishop is quite good. And he plays not the best move, because his bishop belongs here to oppose our bishop. And now I was trying to make this tactic work. But it doesn't quite work. My logic was we take with the rook, he takes back. Now the queens are on the same diagonal. And then we can play here to take advantage of this pin and this pin. But it doesn't work. I'll show you why. So if we do it, so rook takes, queen takes. Now if we play here, black can play this one. And the problem is he gets a pawn and he's attacking our queen. So we cannot take the knight because the queen falls. If we take the queen, we can get the rook. But ultimately, we can even get this pawn, but we're still down a pawn. So it wasn't worth it to do it. So instead, we move the queen. Computer wants to play knight g5. Computer's logic is the knight is untouchable, because if queen takes knight, rook takes bishop. It's a very nice rook. And otherwise, this move opens up the bishop. And also introduces threats of rook takes and bishop takes. So we play queen c4 instead. Our logic is simply to step out from the line of the bishop, because black had ideas of knight takes, open up his bishop on the queen, and we're still keeping pressure on the knight, potentially keeping pressure on the pawn. Black plays rook c8 because he did not want to be on this diagonal. But the problem with this move is the rook is not extremely useful. We play knight g4 now. Our logic was, if he takes, we were going to take with the rook, and then we were going to double rooks, and our pieces are quite active. And our opponent went crazy and gave up his knight. So now we up a piece. But again, it's still, as you saw from the beginning of this video, just because you up a piece, it does not actually mean that you're going to win this game. Okay, he moved his queen, attacked our rook. We defended, also putting more pressure on e6. Computer wants to take on e6 right away because after he takes our rook, we have all kinds of discoveries. But we play the more simple move. We defend the rook, and now we attacking this pawn 4 times. Pawn c5 attacking our knight. We simply took. He took, we took. And now the problem for the queen is where does it go? Because we have possible discoveries. For example, if he plays here, we can win the queen. Or if, let's say, he plays here, we can win the queen. Move the rook, attack the queen. Let's say this. So he plays a sensible move. He plays queen f7, blocking this diagonal. And now we have a tactic. I'm going to pause and have you find it. And we played the rook takes pawn. And the reason we play rook takes pawn, it's a check. If he takes with a pawn, then we will play bishop d5 and pin the queen. He's not allowed to take with a queen because he'll be in check. And he could move, but then we just won a pawn. So he took, we won the queen, he moved the king, we take, he takes, and now we have a queen for a rook, which is really winning, but how do you finish him off? So first we combine the powers of the queen and the rook. He connected his pieces, they're all defended. Maybe this pawn can move forward, so we stop that. He played rook h8. Maybe in some world he might be able to put pressure here. But we played queen e5. He blocks, and now we activate our rook. And we're threatening rook check, because after he moves the king, this rook will fall. So he plays rook f8, defending the rook. And now, this is important. This rook is what I call is in a forever pin. The rook is completely stuck. It can never move again because it's pinned. This rook is stuck over here because if it ever moves, this rook will die. The king cannot move because if it moves, the rook will die. If black tries to move the pawn so that the king could move here, we obviously take and we attack the rook with a pawn, and the rook will die. So black pieces are kind of stuck. They cannot do anything. And a lot of people would just rush and trade right away, which of course is winning, but there is an even more precise way to win. I will pause and have you find it. And I hope you were able to find the idea of bringing our king to this square and just attack the rook more, which is what we did. Black plays rook f7, and our king is just coming here. Once we attack this rook 3 times, it's all over. He moves the pawn, we brought the king, nothing happens, and now it's game over because the rook will fall. I hope you found this video helpful. Again, remember the ideas. Remember this idea of the forever pin. You should not rush to take the rook right away. You can Well, technically we could have taken once, but then the problem with taking once is after here, can play king f7, and the king can actually move. So keep the forever pin and try to exploit it. And the same thing to remember is when you're down, you do not want to trade, you want to keep the pieces. You want to keep the position complicated. I hope you learned something. Please like, please subscribe, and I will be back soon. Thank you.